Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Supreme Court declining to hear the Texas case disputing the election certification process in 4 states. I don't think this should surprise anyone. Before we get into it, if you wouldn't mind sharing, commenting, and subscribing, that would be great. So I think the issue with this lawsuit in the first place is that in the Constitution it says that the federal government has nothing to do with the elections. Well, it doesn't say that, but it says that that power is delegated to the states, and then so therefore the federal government has nothing to do with it. So you can't say, and unfortunately for Republicans, our judges are constitutionalists, and the rest of them are so partisan they wouldn't even hear it anyway. Even though if it was reversed, Democrats would hear it if it was, say, Joe Biden in this situation and he had a Supreme Court majority. Anyway, they don't say why. I assume that's why they declined. So 2 justices, Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, said they would have heard the case without granting other relief like issuing an injunction on the electoral proceedings. They added that they expressed no view on any other issue. Moments after the court's decision, President Trump tweeted out one of his new campaign videos questioning election integrity. Ooh, the Twitter thing is now in red. That is fascinating. The court did not provide a complete vote breakdown, so it is unclear how Trump's nominees, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett, may have voted on the appeal. Likely, well, obviously, 2 of them at least voted against it, because I do think Alito and Thomas wanted to hear it, as they said, so they would have voted to hear the case. So 2 of them had to say no. I'm sure Amy Coney Barrett was one of them. Anyway, if I had to guess who wasn't, I would assume Kavanaugh. But the other 2, I definitely did not. The briefing stage of Supreme Court litigation consists of the first party, in this instance Texas, asking the court to hear the case. The opposition briefs are filed by those on the other side of the case. The first party is allowed to file a reply brief, which Texas did Friday morning. Defendant states do not seriously address the grave issues that Texas raises, choosing to hide behind other court venues and decisions in which Texas could not participate, and to mischaracterize both the relief that Texas seeks and the justification for that relief. The Texas brief says that the opposition briefs filed by Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia Thursday, they continue. An injunction should issue because defendant states have not and cannot defend their actions, which is exactly right. Even in some of the cases that were thrown out, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania was like, you're just too late. You can't do anything about it, but you can't sue unless there's cause. But they're elected in my beautiful home state of Pennsylvania. And unfortunately, they're all Democrats. That will change soon, given the times. Anyway, the justices could have agreed to hear the case and promptly dismiss it, or rule in favor of Texas, or they could have requested oral arguments before ruling. They declined to hear it outright. The crux of Texas' case was the argument that the 4 states it is suing, all 4 of which swung for Joe Biden, unconstitutionally changed their election statutes and their judiciaries or executive branches, when only the legislature is allowed to make election law, which is correct. They're not the only states to do it. So unfortunately, The way it looks is very political, which it is political. Don't get me wrong. Defendant states do not credibly dispute either that they changed election statutes via non-legislative means or that the electors clause preempts such changes, the Texas brief says. Accordingly, Texas is likely to prevail on the merits. The 4 states, in their reply briefs, meanwhile, did say that any changes that were made to their election were consistent with laws approved by their legislatures and criticized Texas for allegedly undermining the American election process. Well, for starters, I didn't actually read this article beforehand. I usually do, but I see Pennsylvania a couple paragraphs down. The Pennsylvania AG is an absolute scumbag. He's a terrible person overall. And like it says they failed, but like in reality what happened was the courts were like, too bad, so sad. It is kind of sad, really. So 17 states were in favor of Texas, while 20 states and territories backed Pennsylvania. I have no idea why Puerto Rico, which it really does shock me. I think Puerto Rico backed the defendants. Let me check that right now. So let's see what happened. I think Texas lawsuit participants. So I know 125 House representatives backed it. It's so hard to see because they don't want you to see which ones. I'm sure New York, California. Okay, let's see. It is what it is, though. I can't imagine it being anything else. Let's see. I know Montana. Annoying. Their governor is a scumbag too. So, yeah, I can't find it. It's not that important. So, yeah, anyway, have a wonderful day and God bless you.